Hey everybody, it's Johnny here at Perkins Motors in Colorado Springs, and right behind me I've got the beautiful brand new 2026 Jeep Grand Wagoneer. This one here is the limited altitude, and today on a very snowy day here in Colorado Springs, we're going to do our first review, my first test drive, and also go over some bells and whistles on the vehicle. So follow along and let's check it out. Starting here on the front of the 2026 Jeep Grand Wagoneer, you've got your redesigned 7-slot grille here in the front. One of the big differences between this and the previous Grand Wagoneers and Wagoneers that they were making is now they have the Jeep brand on the front instead of going with Wagoneer, which I think is a really cool touch. I love how they're doing these LED lights and the light bars that go across the front. You've got the fog lights down here. I mean, look at that. Look at that flash on that. That's super clean, super slick. This one's got a really cool Y-spoke tire and wheel design here. We are on some Radians HTX. These are going to be some of their all-terrain tires, as you can see by the tread on these. And that's going to be really helpful with that four-wheel drive we're going to test out here in the snow today. You've got a beautiful Grand Wagoneer badging on the side with the American flag, with the stars pointed forward, which is really cool. You've got lights on the mirrors there, keyless entry door handles, beautiful running board across the side. Got roof rails on the top here, tinted rear windows. On the back side here, you've got that same light situation across the back. You've got your backup camera located right here. And then underneath this panel here on the rear is where your tow hitch and 7 and 4-pin connectors are located. And this vehicle does have the capability of going up to 10,000 pounds of max towing capacity with the max tow package. But let's go ahead and open up the tailgate here. Beautiful. Automatic power tailgate, of course. You've got a lot of space here behind the back seat, so you do have a decent amount of space going through, and then it looks like you have some buttons to fold down the third row, which are powered. But as you can see, you get this flat space all the way through from the back of the vehicle to the back of the second row, and this specific one has the captain's chair. So let's fold this back up. Looks like you have DC outlets back here, some straps, tie downs, and then your button here to change the height of the lift gate and also close that up. But let's go ahead and close that up. Walking around this side, you've got a push to open gas cap on this. Coming over here to the driver's side back door, we'll open this up and check out the back seat situation. Looks like you have adjustable folding back seats. They are captain's chairs with the armrests here, which are really cool. Looks like you have heated back seats and controls for adjusting the temperature and the vents back here. And then there's some plugins down there, some cup holders. And then it looks like on your doors here, you have your Alpine speaker system, which is really nice. And then you have your lock and unlock button and window controls here. Looks like getting into the third row is just this button right here. And it slides the seat forward for us. And I can climb up on to the running board and into the back here. And as you can see, super clean looking interior here. You got 3 seats in the third row. They have adjustable seats, and then you've also got your plugins and a cup holder on both sides, which is really nice. Coming around to the driver door where you're going to spend most of your time, inside the driver's seat here, you're going to have heated and ventilated front seats, a heated steering wheel. You've got adjustable seats here, powered, and then power adjustable telescoping steering wheel. You've got a fully digital dash display here, instrument cluster, and then your large Uconnect 5 screen is located right there. Looks like over here you've got some crystal ball here for changing your gears, along with having your different driving modes, which we're definitely going to want to try out that snow mode in here on a day like today. But let's go ahead and take a look under the hood. All right, underneath the hood here, you've got a self-supporting hydraulic hood. You've got a switch here to open it up once you pull the handle underneath the dash. And then under here, you've got a 3-liter inline-6 Hurricane twin-turbo motor. This is going to produce 420 horsepower, 468 pounds of torque, which is really nice paired with that 8-speed automatic transmission. This is going to be the same motor that's become notorious in the Ram 1500s. So they've got the same truck motor, but in this large full-size family SUV. So sitting inside the driver's seat here, we're going to get this started up. You've got a push to start here. Starts up. Oh, wow, that's quiet. That's very quiet. You've got this nice screen here with the wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. You've got the built-in navigation along with all the Uconnect 5 niceties. You do have physical buttons down here, which I like for the actual air conditioning and settings here. I do like how they do that. And then down here, like we mentioned, we've got all of your different buttons and sensors. Looks like your auto stop, your lane keep assist, traction control, your hazard lights. Looks like here you've also got your parking sensors, your tow mode, and then a mute button to turn down the radio. You can also just turn the radio down right here. In your center console here, you're going to have this cool little sliding compartment here with access to a little storage and some plugins here. You've also got underneath here some storage underneath. Then you do have a nice compartment for your cup holders right here with this little pop and close. And then this little hatch right here closes up. I do believe that on the higher end Grand Wagoneers, you're going to have a screen here, and you'll also have a screen over here for the passenger. But right now we have this limited altitude here, which is still very well equipped, and I can't wait to test it out. All right, so now that we're kind of familiar with what we're driving here, we're going to go ahead and take this on a quick spin around the block here. And today it is in the teens right now. It's about 16 degrees at 4 p.m. in the afternoon. So it's pretty icy out. It's pretty snowy. We're going to see how this performs. It's a very heavy vehicle. It's got a really good 4x4 system by Jeep. So I'm excited to see how this actually performs. But without further ado, I'm going to place it into snow mode for the drive here. And we're going to test how it goes. So let's do this. We've got our speed bumps right here. Oh, that handles that like nothing. That's nice. First time out on the open road with this here. It's only got 14 miles on the odometer. I think the only people that have test driven this are the mechanics here that do our pre-delivery inspection. Going up a little incline right here, and it's handling that just fine. I'm barely touching the gas. The Hurricane in this is really, really powerful. And what I really like is how quiet the Hurricane is. I don't like to hear the vehicles that I drive while I'm inside the vehicle. I like it to be as quiet as possible. And I think that was really people's biggest gripe, at least from my personal experience with when Ram switched from the Hemi to the Hurricane. Now they've got both options. And what's funny is with both options now, we're selling more of the Hurricane motors to more people who were interested in the Hemi. And I think it's because they realize that it's better at torque, it's better with altitude, it's better on gas mileage, the towing capacity is better, payload's better. It just doesn't sound as muscular, and that's, for some people, that's what they really like. If you've ever shopped here at Perkins Motors and you've done a test drive, especially with me, then you'll know that we have some of the most scenic test drive routes in the country. Right here at the base of America's Mountain, here in Colorado Springs, we're literally right here by the valley and these foothill mountains, and just seconds away from the dealership here. You're already heading up hills, taking switchback turns. It gives you a really good feel for how the vehicle is going to perform here in Colorado. For example, I'm going up about a 3% grade on this back hill right here. It's a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit here. And getting up to that is, I'm barely touching the gas. For being such a heavy vehicle, this is handling this really, really well. I do like how, compared to some of the other full-size SUVs, like the Suburbans, the Yukons, the Tahoes, the Escalades, those have a very truck-like feel when you're driving it. You get a lot of body roll. And in this, I'm taking some twists and turns and curves here, and I'm not feeling any body roll whatsoever. In all fairness, I'm only going 30 miles an hour, but usually when you're doing turns like that, you're not going very fast. I've got the heated steering wheel going here, and that's honestly a non-negotiable for me here in Colorado. When you've been outside and your hands are numb and cold, and you can come into your vehicle and your hands are nice and warm on the steering wheel, that's a really nice feature to have. So I'm coming up to my favorite part of this test drive here, which is on Lower Gold Camp Road here in Colorado Springs. And it takes you on this little straightaway overlooking. To our left, we've got the Broadmoor area and Cheyenne Mountain. Directly ahead of us, we've got the foothills of Pikes Peak. And to the right, you've got Garden of the Gods. It's a really, really beautiful drive when it's clear out. But even when it's snowy like this, it's a very nice drive. Now, I've got the vehicle right now in snow mode. I haven't noticed any slipping or sliding or ABS or braking when I'm slowing down. And that's probably thanks mostly to the weight of this vehicle, is it's penetrating through that thin little layer of snow and ice on the road, that it's handling it just fine. So this part of the test drive here, this is about a 3 to 5% downgrade, with two switchback 90-degree, almost 180-degree full turns going downhill. And so for this section, it's recommended we take the turn at 20 miles an hour in normal conditions. I'm going to be right around that even in the snow here, but instead of utilizing the brakes on your steering wheel here, you've got gear limit. So I've lowered the gear limit here to keep the gear limit under 2. So that way I stay in first or second gear here. And so without using the brakes, I'm heading down about a 2% grade here. It's keeping me at 17 miles an hour. And so I don't want to heat up my brakes, and I also don't want to slip or slide. So using the motor to slow you down is definitely the way to go. So this first turn here, like I mentioned, it's a full switchback, and it's about a 160-degree turn, takes you all the way around. And then we have another switchback that's coming up here. You can see the hill off to my left here that we just came down. Now, I'm still just using the gear limit here. I haven't really messed much with the brakes except for right when I'm starting to turn. We're going to take this. This one's even sharper, and it's to the right. And the traction on that was just fine. I didn't notice any issues with that. So I just turned off the gear limiter, so that way I'd go back to normal transmission here. Because right now I'm going down. It's only a 1 or 2% grade, so I'm not too worried about having the gears on. Just with those super sharp turns, I wanted to make sure. I really like the Grand Wagoneers. I think for a while there they were grossly overpriced, from Jeep, and I'm a Jeep salesperson, so I probably shouldn't say that, but I do think that they were very overpriced for the market that they were trying to tap into. And I like how they've brought a little bit more of Jeep's feel to it, while also combining it with Grand Wagoneer, for the 2026s here. And frankly, I'm very impressed. So far on this, it's a pretty comfortable drive. I do like the size. I'm not really a huge fan of really big vehicles personally, but the utility of having all that extra space, especially for the kiddos, the car seats, the strollers, I definitely understand that. I have two kids of my own. We make it work with a 2-row right now, but I could definitely see how with any more, you definitely got to go for the 3 rows. All right, now we're on Highway 24 here. I'm going to go, oh, wow, that's fast. I was not expecting that. I gave it a little beans there, and it just took off. I was not expecting that. That feels quicker than the previous models. Now, albeit I didn't drive those a ton. We didn't get a lot of the Grand Wagoneers for the 2024s and 2025s. But wow, that took off. And in the snow too. That caught me off. I didn't even gun it. Like, I didn't even put all the way. I was halfway, and it just snapped me back and wanted to take off. So, very interesting. Very interesting. But yeah, like I was saying, I really enjoy, having the bigger road presence that you get in the big pickup trucks and these larger SUVs. It's something that's not super convenient in the city when you're taking some really tight turns and stuff. This does handle pretty good, and it feels really nimble. But especially on snowy days like this, having that extra weight, that road presence, and just the control and stability is really nice. There is quite a bit of traffic today, so I'm kind of having to go a little slower than I'd like to. But that's kind of how it is around here in Colorado Springs. Most of the time you're driving, heading to and from work. So this is kind of a good feel for how actually driving the vehicle is. A lot of stop and goes and slowing down. And here in Colorado, with all the snow and people not really knowing how to drive, staying aware of that, it's given me a good feel for this, and I really do like it. And I like how they were able to keep the price in a very competitive range for what type of market they're trying to reach into with these large 3-row SUVs. There's no complaint from me. It drives great, feels really nice. The seat is very comfortable. The bolsters on the side are hugging me in a great way. Um, Lumbar support on this is nice. The seat and the steering wheel are a great distance. I love how I can adjust with the telescoping and that it's powered and I don't have to manually adjust that in. That does feel really nice. All right, we're fixing to pull back into Perkins Motors here. And I'm going to go ahead and park this under the awning. I'm going to back in under the awning. That's something that's really important to me when I'm driving big pickup trucks and large SUVs. Having a really solid view behind the vehicle with the backup camera is essential. So I'm going to back in under the awning here. And this one here does not have the surround view camera. It is an option. This one just not optioned with it. But the backup camera takes up this whole screen. It's really high definition. And the guidelines are frankly really easy to use. So I'm going to back this in nice and tight here. We're going to get this centered off and bring it all the way back to the line. And using the guidelines here, I'm able to get it right up to that line there, and we'll see how we look from outside. But overall, very smooth drive on this. It handles great in the snow. I didn't have to worry about any traction. The acceleration on this is insane. I was not expecting it to take off that fast on the highway. I'm very impressed. As you can see, we're out of the Grand Wagoneer, and I love that LED lighting on the front. It's just super smooth. Parking sensors across the front and the back are really helpful. And I was able to, with the backup camera, get it perfectly aligned here. And as you can see, look how close I got to this line here without having to get out and check. That backup camera was really nice on this. But overall, very smooth drive. So there you have it, folks. Once again, my name is Johnny. Thanks for taking some time to check out the Grand Wagoneer with me. If you guys want to come down and check one out here, we're at 1205 Motor City Drive here in Colorado Springs. Feel free to ask for Johnny. If you guys need to contact me, you can reach me in the contact information below. And we do ship nationwide. So if you check one out locally, but you'd prefer to work with me, just let me know. I'd be happy to hook you up. And I can't wait to talk to you guys next.